Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be recapping the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. It was a good episode, a lot of great conversation, which I love and miss from those first couple seasons of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So I want to get into some conversations that I felt like were significant or definitely worth highlighting. And yeah, for sure, Melody describes Trisha to a T during a scene with Tisha and Kimmy, as well as when they were on the boat. And Ken is going out like a pathetic side dude. That is not attractive at all. And Martell, not a shocker. He definitely gives 304. And I just want to talk about how disgusting he sounds. And it's just taking me back to high school and Michigan State, only this dude is in his 40s. All right, so let's break it all down. Now, before we do, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. Everything that I'm saying is my opinion and alleged. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these sound bites are allowed. Okay, so the episode opens up with the ladies, of course, still on the girls' trip. They are at a dinner. We all know that last week, Nell brought up Melody's fan base, the Millimeters, and she said that Melody told her, what do you want me to do? I can't control them. Nell said she thought about it. She understood. We also know last week that she was saying, well, she's not going to say anything to them. That's her money, and then Stormy asked Melody, and this scene is on Instagram where you can check out the clip. I believe I shared it on my IG stories, and I made a video about it yesterday. So Stormy is talking about, trying to get Melody to say something about Miss Black Titanic and her friend Shay showing up to the parking lot of where Stormy's warehouse was located. And, Melody says, I don't have to say ish. I don't have to say ish. And Stormy is like, okay, say less. And Stormy is talking about how, what you all don't know is that one of her fans, a Millimeter, came up to my warehouse and I was cursing and crying. And then my phone went live. And she took that footage and was able to get a harassing communication and DV charge. And I had to turn myself in. And so she made it sound like Miss Black Titanic was trying to go in. She said she was trying to get inside, but in my opinion, she wasn't. And I said this in the video last night. Miss Black Titanic was standing there, in the parking lot. She's like, oh, I think this is her warehouse. This is it, and her friend Shay they're standing there. And then Courtney comes out and then Stormy comes out. And Melody says in her confessional, you don't just get a charge and then you go turn yourself in over nothing. You had to have done something to get the charge. And she decided to go live, as well as Miss Black Titanic was filming. So that was the document. That was the proof. And she turned herself in. So obviously the police took issue with her response. In my opinion, she should have just continued to let Courtney handle it. Courtney was definitely talking to the women way more calm than Stormy was, but she did not. She turned herself in. And you probably have seen on Instagram where she said the case was dismissed. And she confirmed that she quit the show in April. And we all know that Destiny said in her confessional that, just to not say anything, she was stone-faced. And Tisha said in her confessional that Melody not saying anything was her saying something. And again, we all know this. This is basic math, that Melody cannot control anyone. She cannot control any adults whom she does not know personally. It's not like her fans, none of us work for her. She doesn't run a company that we are employees of. We're not her children. There's no interaction on any level where she could control anyone's behavior. And so I just think that's where it is. And I think that's going to always be the gist of it. Now let's move on. So also, we see, so after they talk about the Stormy and Miss Black Titanic situation, Tisha says to Trisha, well, Trisha, since we're talking about everything, I might as well lay this on the table. What's up with you and someone who is connected to our group and DMs? And so Trisha, in my opinion, she gets very defensive. And she talks about, oh, it was at a time when I was training both male and female, and he sent me a DM about me training him, and we connected. I went over to his house. He was a gentleman with me. Nothing happened. I did not do anything with Martell. And then Stormy actually says, but Trisha, when I originally asked you about it, you were adamant that you had never been over to Martell's house. And she said, yeah, I said that. And then Sunny even says, so did you lie because you wanted to cover up what it looks like anyway? And Trisha was like, yeah. Trisha, to me, she is not trustworthy. I would not want to trust her with any friends of mine, loved ones, an important project that you're working on, money, a serious secret situation. I would not trust her with any of that, anything that means something, because she talks out of both sides of her mouth. And to me, she's just inconsistent. It actually doesn't shock me that she and Ken are together, since he's comfortable with dating married people. They seem like two peas in a pod, definitely a match. So Tisha, she did her job as a reality TV star. She brought up the mess, and they went with it. And Nell, I wanted to get, a picture of both Nell and Tisha at the table, because Nell had to amplify things by saying, let's just put it out there. Martell is fine AF. And they were like, whoa. And she was like, he is some eye candy, and Melody, I'm a straight shooter. Now, it was clear that Melody was not like her normal happy self at the table, with her facial expression. And later in the episode, she admits to feeling uncomfortable. And Nell would say that. It's just giving another instance of Nell not really coming off like her friend. Even for people who do not care for Melody and they say really mean things about her, you have to admit that even you would feel very uncomfortable in this situation. It's one thing, they went from attacking her fan base and trying to get her to say something or render some sort of judgment, to now they're talking about her ex-husband, the father of her 4 children, may have potentially slept with a woman whom she invited on the girls' trip. Nell knows she would not have liked it. She would not have liked that if Lexi's mom appeared on this girls' trip and was talking about times where, Chris allegedly, I'm just throwing this out here as a scenario, was trying to flirt with her or be, chummy with her and converse with her. And she, that would have made her uncomfortable as well. So I don't know why Nell would say, I'm just putting it out there. Martell is fine AF. You didn't have to do all that, because it already looks ridiculous that Martell was in this lady's DM and she went over to his house. And in my opinion, with you being a fitness trainer and with working with the opposite sex, I would not meet at that person's house. We would have to meet at the gym or at the park and work out. I'm not coming to your house. Why that location? it just gives like, he was going to see what it is and how far he could go. And the conversation is going to come back up, but from the men's perspective, from Martell's perspective. And I definitely want to talk about it then as well. So let's move on. So now this is an important scene for me. It's obviously Melody, Kimmy, and Tisha. I want to quickly acknowledge the beautiful view, past their infinity pool, just absolutely gorgeous. The rolling hills, the blue sky, the water for as far as the eye can see, gorgeous. So these three ladies were conversing, and, they tell Melody that Tisha and Stormy decide to dip out. They only said goodbye to Destiny, Kimmy, and Tisha. And I really think that for Stormy, she didn't want to stay and be cordial when she could not back Melody into a corner and get her to, say something like judgmental or derogatory about her fans or Miss Black Titanic. So then Stormy was done. She had to leave. I think Trisha left because she already has gotten caught in lies, has egg on her face, judged Sunny, and is a married woman herself with her side ninja living with her and around her kids. She cannot judge Sunny or anyone else. So she dipped out, without saying goodbye. She really didn't want to face the music. But I felt like this conversation was really good. And Melody just describes Trish to the T. So let's just get right on to it.
Speak or say goodbye. Really? But you came on my damn trip. Actually, Trish, I invited you. Let's be clear. Hey, hopefully it wasn't an uncomfortable position for you about talking to Trish about the whole Martell DM thing. We all know he a hoe. What's new? Like everybody, I mean, he's divorced right now because he a hoe. So what's new? You know what I'm saying?
Well, when it was told to us, it was more along the lines of they were flirting with each other.
So that's
so when we talked about when we talked about it, I didn't want to bring it up at the table. I specifically
told y'all that
said, let's not bring it up at the table, only because we didn't know the timeline.
Yeah.
And so
were y'all like defending me and her not sharing with me what happened, or were y'all just? I was talking to her more so like, because we didn't really know the details ourselves. So we was like, what took place, what happened? And that's why I brought it up at the table with everybody there, so everybody could hear. Because we didn't hear too, because we didn't know.
It implied they were flirting. It wasn't just business.
Now, when it comes to her, how I feel is, I'm going to keep it a bug. I feel like she lied. She done lied so much. From the first time I met her, it was, this is my fiance. Then it became yeah, I'm divorced. Well, no, I'm not. We're still married.
Are you married?
I was.
No, I am still married. I'm just, wait a minute. I'm still married. I'm separated, but I am with somebody.
Separated for 5 years.
Yeah.
When did y'all start the paperwork?
I'm not, we never started it. So whatever the reason is, when your stories change,
the truth don't change.
Look not honest.
The truth don't change.
Right.
The truth don't change. So for me now, I see you as a liar. Just saying. It's simply lying. God dang.
But I told her, I said, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm getting to know you, and I'm getting to know you on this trip. I think you're cool, like for real. I said, but every situation you brought to us, it just has a lot of questions.
I just feel like a lot of times I have felt that there were double standards, sometimes girl code, sometimes not. Like literally, Trish had this whole, to the point I called it out the first night at dinner because she was very firm in her opinion about the situation with Sunny, Moses, Destiny. So while we were sitting at the table, y'all may not have known why I called it out, but she was making faces. So I was like, well, Trish, you said you don't like Sunny, so, go ahead and talk about it. Well, Trish, you got a problem with Sunny because of Destiny.
You're in a relationship. I'm your producer. So we build this relationship. No. We build this relationship where we go to parties together outside of work. No, because everybody has seen them outside.
It's a work relationship. If you quit this job tomorrow,
but they have seen they were with each other outside of work.
They were hanging out.
to one situation while I was working. One. How are you so enraged, as my friend Shenita said, and you in a glass house throwing rocks? And I can give you my honest to God position on what I think is right without me hating. Yeah. Like, so I think she should know. And I don't hate her either. I don't know her enough to hate her. I just also know through my experiences the type of people I desire to have around me and the ones that I don't kind of play with that no more. So it seems like the people who needed to go left, and that's perfect.
Okay, so Kimmy and Tisha, they actually said, we wanted to talk with you and see if you were okay after that conversation. So they knew that was brutal. I'm a viewer and I'm watching via my MacBook. I wasn't even on the girls' trip. I was not sitting at that table, and I know that it was brutal. So they're checking on Melody. Her strength comes from within. She's a very spiritual person, because that is the only way you could deal with these sorts of scenarios and film a reality TV show for several consecutive years around people who like to blame. And Melody said in her confessional, some people in this group, they are delusional. They live in a fantasy world. And in that fantasy world, it is blame Melody. It's a blame Melody world. And when she would not allow them to put that on her, and when she would not drag her fan base, that is why Stormy had to go. But Melody totally calls out Trish and her inconsistencies and her lies with describing her marital situation, still being legally married, but living with another man who is okay with dating and living with a married woman. We can't just drag side chicks. Side dudes have to get it as well. Like, where is the self-respect? It is non-existent. But Melody said, I felt like the people who should be gone, they have left, and that is perfect. And I think that she is absolutely right. And Kimmy and Tisha could not help but admit that there are so many holes in Trisha's stories and inconsistencies. And she can't really talk about anyone. She cannot judge Sonny and Moses. And it just comes out like lie after lie after lie. So I felt like this scene was definitely important. So then the ladies get on a boat. Obviously, there's drinks and snacks. It looked like they had mimosas. They did a toast to staying fine. And I thought that was great. Beautiful scenery. In my opinion, Destiny's attitude, it grew so negative and stank once Stormy and Trish left. You can tell she kind of felt like probably almost mad that they kind of bowed out from all of the BS. Like, oh my gosh, she kind of wins again, like they couldn't break her down and now they're out. So she just seems to have a huge attitude. And so they are all talking, and Shenita spoke with clarity. Now I know Shenita, she's been getting hell lately, like that Natalie Cole song, with when she said what she said about Martell, and she said, some of y'all probably didn't even grow up with your daddy, or you don't know who your daddy is, blah blah blah. That is in the past now. I'm letting that go. Because she brings up a point about Trish as well. She's saying, you all try to get clarity from someone who is not clear. So let's get to it.
Trying to make her feel welcome into this circle, So if she on some since her and Stormy into it, and that's my friend, I ain't fooling with you, baby. You will never fool with me because it's forever now. It's Scorpio stinger forever.
Once she went to Martell house, there's nothing left to say. When people are defending their truth, most of the time when it's the truth, they're very calm. They like, listen, this is what it is. And they don't go into a whole long, drawn out, and I train men, and it's usually easier to train men and not women. Girl, what? And then y'all kept asking clarity from somebody that's not clear.
You did say that.
Yeah, she's not even clear. I'm married, but I'm not married, but we engaged, but we not engaged, because he asked me, but I didn't say yes, but I'm going to be with him. Girl, what?
Yeah, you're right.
And y'all keep asking clarity from her.
You're right. I went to the house, no, I went to the clubhouse, but no, I didn't.
I didn't go to the house, but then
know you my friend, because I ain't want you to think it was something.
But then it's not some, but he was making it too much, girl.
That wouldn't be.
She gave Martell that little hot pocket.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Poor Trish. It was tough. Poor Trish. That was tough for her.
It's a hard first season for her.
It's hard to believe, Trisha, that nothing happened. However, I feel like the conversation needed to be had. I just was hoping the initial one would have been in a smaller group so that she didn't feel blindsided. That's all.
Okay, so after Shenita cleared Trish and said, you all were trying to get clarity from someone who is not clear, I felt like that was just so spot on. And then she was like, Trish was like, I'm not married, but I'm married and I'm living with my fiance, but we're not engaged. And he asked me to marry him, but I didn't want to. And I just thought it was hilarious, but it was so on point. That's how she is. And in all of that chaos and confusion, that is Trish and Ken. So I don't know where that relationship is going to be headed, but it has such a shaky foundation. And then, Destiny was trying to say, poor Trish, poor Trish. It is no poor Trish. She chose to go over to Martell's house. In my opinion, if you're a professional fitness trainer, especially the opposite sex, I just would not have gone over there. Absolutely not. And she knew what time it was. She went to school with his brother. She knows what it is. And she still took her tail over there. No, there is no poor Trish. She's not having a rough first season, Tisha. She's the one who decided to join a reality TV show, knowing that she was still married and living with another man. I could care less. I will never settle to be a side chick or date someone who's unavailable, because I know that I deserve more. And I would rather embrace solitude and enjoy life as a single woman, knowing that I'm not wrecking another household or contributing to any sort of breakdown in a marriage. I refuse to do that. So Tisha was talking about nails. So I just wanted to talk about Tisha's outfit. It's not even outfit, her hair too. It's just so retro, isn't it? It just reminds me of I just want to watch Dreamgirls or sing some of the songs from the soundtrack. And then it's also giving Velma from Scooby-Doo. The flip is just so retro and cute, but that is, that was the look. So in her confessional, she was saying that Nell cannot read the room, and she would not have asked Sonny if they were working on having kids, her and Moses, because Destiny was sitting right there. And then we also know during this scene that Nell asked Destiny if she talked to Lucky, who is her son Lance. And Destiny was saying, you were acting like you really didn't like us dating. You said, hell no. And then that was her reaction when Kimmy said, or Tisha said, Destiny can end up being your daughter-in-law. She was kind of hell no. That was a quick, natural reaction. Okay. Out of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So she said in her confessional, Nell, that while there is chemistry between Lance and Destiny, she doesn't feel like Lance is ready for a serious relationship because he just got out of a marriage. I hope it ain't no overlapping. I hope that Lance is fully divorced, because that trend on this show amongst this cast, it is just too much with the overlapping and the cheating. You got Martell, and then you got Chris and Nell's overlapping. And then you've got Trisha and Ken, Trisha's overlapping. And I think that I've mentioned it all. And then, Moses said he didn't like formally call Destiny and say the relationship was over. But, whatever. I think that was just friends with benefits for a 15-year period anyway. But it's exhausting and it's just not cute. So then the men, they actually go to an archery park. Now, I love the outdoors. I kind of feel like this is like sort of me. I've never shot a bow and arrow. And when I think of a bow and arrow, I think of the book series and the movie, The Hunger Games. But yeah, they did that. I thought that was cool. And the men definitely had boy talk, if you will. But I wanted to just, give some visuals as to what they did with the bow and arrow. Have any of you all ever shot a bow and arrow? Is the bow like really heavy? And is it hard to balance? So those are my questions. Now I'm going to probably tonight think about or Google like any archery parks that's in my area. So then these three were talking about the Sonny, Moses, and Destiny situation. So Chris Fletcher definitely put on his realtor hat and he followed up with Moses and asked him, his thoughts on the house that he showed him. And Moses said, Sonny and I, if we were to get that home, it would be like an investment property, but we would want a different house that we would live in. Now, I did notice something that Moses said during this conversation. Like he was saying he would want a bigger house, but then he goes, we would want a different house for when we come here. So I feel like they would not permanently or seriously move to Huntsville, but they're anticipating, assuming that there's going to be another season on this show, that they would return and they would want a house to live in while they're there. But for whatever reason, they did not want to live in the house that Martell showed them. And it could be because of his alliance with Destiny. Totally get that. But I just noticed that he said that. It was just giving like, okay, it's almost like, I'm not going to use the word storyline. That doesn't seem accurate to my thoughts, but it's just giving you might be pretending like you all would move to Huntsville, but really you just want a house to stay in when you're there filming. Because he kind of let that slip out. Like, yeah, we would want a different house for when we're here. So it sounds like definitely St. Louis is still home, but you would not want to live like in a hotel or anything when you're down there filming. You would want to actually have a property that you could stay in. Those were just my thoughts. And then Martell said, well, if you want a bigger house, I can build you a bigger house. You just let me know. Like he, was saying, well, don't just like not take one of my properties because I still want to make some money. In fact, Martell admitted in his confessional, as much as he's friends with Destiny, he's also a home builder and a businessman, and he's definitely into profits. So he was being very transparent about his desire to sell them a home so he could make some money. But if I was Moses and Sonny, I would just steer clear from that transaction. So now the men, after they played with the bows and arrows, they decided to have a little boy talk. Courtney, or man talk or whatever, Courtney was not feeling it. He was there for a few moments. He gives his commentary in his confessional on Ken and Trish, and then he was gone. I cannot blame him. We've seen in a previous scene where he tells Stormy he don't really fool with the Scots. And when she said, well, Maurice is okay, he's not like Marceau, Courtney was like, the way he treats his wife when she was sick, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said he fools with Fletcher and Martell. So in this scene, they are talking about, okay, Marceau, he is so goofy. He was like acting like he was taking off his shades and looking around, trying to be all coy and putting them back on. So goofy. Because he knows that this is messy. The whole DM situation and Trisha going over to Martell's house. So now the men are talking about it. And Ken tries to make up excuses saying, well, it was before me. It was before me. Dude, But look at the caliber of who she would mess around with. And do we know if she's ever dated Montez, or were they just strictly classmates? I hope she wouldn't get with two brothers. Never mind that. I'm sure she and Montez were just strictly classmates. But they're talking about it. And I know that Ken had to feel awkward, but he was trying to make light of it. He was trying to laugh, say that it was before him. And then Martell did not want it to seem like he didn't want to make light of it. Martell wanted to present it as if, well, if she and I didn't F, it's because I wasn't with it. In fact, he even says that she wasn't as bad as she is today. You know, letting Ken know, yeah, I find your girl attractive. She's looking even better than back in 2020 when she came over to my house. He just, in my opinion, Martell just thinks so little of women. He just sees women in the physical. And he actually talked about, you know, when he's in a girl's DM, he looks at how she looks like, and if she's attractive enough, then he'll try to F. Just totally disgusting, a douchebag. And Martell is not a teenager. He is not a 16-year-old trying to get some booty in a car. He is not in college. He's not in undergrad. He's not in his 20s. He ain't even in his 30s. He is in his 40s talking this way. Just absolutely gross. And for Nell to say that he was fine AF, that's just focusing on his physical, Nell. And that's another reason why some men, they'll never work on themselves if people just think about how they look in their physicality. But what else does he have going on? Where is his self-respect? But I just want to get into the grossness that is Martell.
Oh, okay. To get excited, a DM slide. Okay, there's more to this story. I'm sure. Did you slide into the DM because you slid past the first part? Oh. Was there a DM slide? Yeah, it was. Yeah, so that's the thing. This was before me. Why y'all doing this? It ain't none of your goddamn business, though. It's not my business. I don't care about this. You talking about what is it? I was asking. I didn't know. Why are you asking about this? I told you she traced me too. And there was nothing to it. So there's no reason to even. Oh, so you read the DM? Huh? You got a chance to read it? Oh. No, it's ain't no 4, 5 years ago. He said 5 years ago. No, he could have did that. He was married. He's not DM slide while he's married. No, that's easy. It was on a break. You guys were on a break. So here's the thing. Years ago, she went over to his crib. They were supposed to train, work out, do some things like that. I'm sorry. You know, I don't like nobody to downplay who I am, anything like that when it comes to a woman. Goddamn it, if I tried, I'd be like, I tried, but you know, she didn't. Hell no, try. Because honestly, at that time, she wasn't as bad as she is right now. You know what I'm saying? And I just seen her from a picture, so I'm like, damn, she cute. You know what I'm saying? Just like all these other girls I seen that are cute, I'll slide in DMs, and if they attractive enough to me, and it's like I kind of make the decisions. If I want to goddamn try to not. So no, I didn't try anything. It was cordial. She came up there, watched TV. I don't know if she drank some. I don't even at the time, but that was it. It's really not that big of a deal. After having a conversation, because me and Trisha did have some words about it, because initially she didn't tell me about it. So it was one of them things where I'm like, okay, I mean, I can't really be too mad because it was way back then, but I don't like the fact that you didn't tell. Here's the thing. Ken is telling me about a story that he wasn't there. We have one eyewitness participant and Ken telling me what happened. Unfortunately, I've got to go with Martell. At the end of the day, there's no reason for us to harp on it and keep going back and forth about it. You know what I'm saying? Is she my woman now? It's my turn. Ken's a patient man. He must really be in love. Now, I definitely won't put myself in no situation like that. Everything had to be fine before I put myself in that situation. But he's a good dude, so we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully he can get through everything. They still be together. I'm finna be out of here. Appreciate you, bro. You gotta go pick my car. Pick up his car. Right. Oh, yeah. Hey, when you got up on Ed? Yeah. Nice. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, solid. I see I posted. Which one is it? I told you I met with Marquez, right? Yeah. Hey, I want to know what y'all talked about. I'll be honest, right? I've known him for a long time. Right. But I remember I hired him the movies. Yeah. He wrote the movies. I know there was because I remember now that he said that they were married. He did say something about marriage, but
for a long time.
I thought he was lying. Yeah. I mean, you see a 19-year-old kid, you don't think he's married, right?
They've been married since 19, really.
Yeah. Wow. So, but Marquez come to me, he's talking to me about, yeah, man, dude doing this, dude trying to raise my kid. I don't even know this. And I left. But I left my wife, but I leave the kids. I'm like, yeah, that's not how that works.
Right.
You left your wife and your kids on the side of the road to fend for themselves. You went out here and you did your thing, and you come back and someone else took your place in rocking and stuff. No, you need to go in there and humble yourself. Not come out, hey man, I want you to, no, because you gave it up.
Right. Like I tell her all the time, it wasn't that he wanted to be with her. He didn't want to be with her. He didn't want nobody else to be with her either.
Right. And that was my thing. He wanted her to hurt.
He wanted her to hurt because he was hurt. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess because I've been in a situation before with a married woman. Now Ken is sharing with us that he was involved with a married woman before and another married woman now. I think he's a pro at being a side dude. Definitely a pro. It's hard, way harder than people try to make it be when you don't establish a whole lifestyle together and just to be like, all right, I'm out.
The only thing that Ken knows is what his married fiance told him. And sometimes you don't need that much of a story to just fill in the gaps. You might learn the hard way.
If someone's madly in love with you, right, you let go of that hand and grab yours and go, right? If there's love that's holding you on, that's the only thing that makes sense to this. Why are they still married?
So I think that Ken is more into Trish than she is into him. And what my concern is if the light bulb ever goes on for him and he realizes that he is into Trish more than she is into him, he may flip. That's just what it's giving for me. And I have felt this way since the beginning of this season. And when they were talking and he was trying to cover and say, oh yeah, well, you and Martell, that was before me and all this stuff. I'm like, wow, he seems like if she were to break up with him, he would lose his ish. But it's very exhausting. The whole side dude, side chick phenomenon. Carlos may think that it makes good TV, but it's just so not cute. I would not want to be anybody's side chick, and I would not want to be in a marriage and then trying to date someone else. I would have to finish and finalize everything like Courtney said in his confessional. But what did you all think of this episode? What did you think about the conversation in the infinity pool between Melody and Kimmy and Tisha? What did you think about the men having this conversation, their powwow? What did you think of Martell just talking so gross about women and how they look and he'll try to F? What did you think of all of that? I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video as it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I hope that you all have a great Monday. I am back home. I checked out of the hotel, then I had breakfast, then I came home, I've unpacked, then I watched the episode, filmed this content, and I worked out at the hotel this morning before, I got dressed and checked out. So it feels good to have some stuff done. And at the same time, I had a nice staycation. So we're going to have a magnificent Monday. It will not be a manic Monday. Do whatever you have to do today to have a smooth start to the week. Try not to snooze your alarm in the morning. Now I'm going to go grocery shopping and enjoy the rest of the Sunday. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.